Hi, I like to introduce myself. My name is Doug Major. I'm the brutally handsome one on the right with no hair. The person beside me? That's Rick Stiggins. He has a couple things to talk to us about assessment. And you know what? I think it's really important if we truly want to apply good assessment techniques in our teaching that we take a look and discuss what Rick has to say about the importance of assessment for learning.
Well, here's the problem from an assessment point of view. The assessment, evaluation, and grading procedures that we all grew up with were born and bred for the purpose of producing dependable rank order. They were born and bred to help some students succeed, but that's not the mission of a no child left behind kind of thinking. It is to help all students succeed. And that brings with it a profound change.
To bring about this profound change that Rick is talking about, we have to start viewing assessment radically in a different way. Assessment for learning now becomes a professional obligation. This is a huge mindset, and in doing this, we're able to actually change the student's perspective once we change our own perspective of learning. So assessment now becomes a process that what some might call a celebration of learning. Here is where the student and the teacher celebrate the learning as they go along, like hundreds and hundreds of little birthday parties. And in this celebration of learnings, students begin to look forward to the assessment process. They view the assessment process as one as they want to be involved in, not a punitive process. So I suggest as teachers, we need to take a look at this profound change that Rick is talking about.
It's time for us to stop trying to motivate students the way people did 50 years ago. We know better today. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Now, I just want to be clear about why this is critically important, and it goes back to my theme of student involvement in the assessment process. Let's be clear about who's in charge of the learning. It's the learner that's in charge of the learning. And so if students don't feel able to learn, there isn't going to be any learning. The driving question then has to be, how do we use the assessment process and its results to help our students want to learn? It turns out we have some wonderful answers to this question.
If we really want our students to learn and get them very involved in the process, we have to have a very strong fundamental shift within our own thinking. And I thought of this quote by Aristotle: "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, therefore, is not a single act, but rather a habit." We now have to look at assessment where we bring excellence to the picture, and this comes through a change in our own thinking. Let's take a look at those 7 statements that Rick brought to us in the video. The first one, student-friendly targets from the beginning. Does the student know that the target is even obtainable? Do they buy into the process? Models of strong and weak work. This is really important. We talked about this in the oral feedback posting, where we talked about the importance of good feedback. What does a student know what good work looks like? Do they know what poor work looks like? Continuous descriptive feedback. This feedback, is it written? Is it oral? Is it specific? Is it general? All of those things we once again talked about, but this descriptive continuous feedback, and the emphasis should be on the continuous part of it. Teach self-assessment and goal setting. Is the student being encouraged to self-assess? Do we teach them how to self-assess, how to set goals for their work? Teach one facet at a time, to be able to break it down so that all of a sudden the student is not looking at a mumbo jumbo, but they're looking at concrete sequential ways of building the learning. It's been said that a truly great teacher is one who's able to take the most complex topic and teach it to anyone. Teach focused revision. Are we getting the students to buy in? Will they revise their work? Do they see the importance of revise it? Do we model this as well? We often have to take a look at sometimes the modeling process. And lastly, teach self-reflection to track growth. We talked about this in portfolios earlier in the course. Do we have a chance where a student can create portfolios so they can see their process? All of these things are really important, and if we are to truly change the assessment process, we need to do that, because we realize that excellence, therefore, is not a single act, but rather a habit.
In the constellation of these 7 strategies, the effect is to bring students inside of the assessment, record keeping, and communication process in ways that set them up to be in control of their own academic success. That's a confidence builder. And it's these kinds of practices that have led to the remarkable achievement score gains revealed to us in the research.
Wow, is that Rick guy ever knowledgeable about assessments? He sure changed my thinking in a lot of different ways, especially the whole notion of assessment for learning. Well, I hope you enjoyed this as much as I have, but I have to get back. I have to give an assessment to my students next week. So, with that being said, thank you very much, and once again, thanks Rick for letting me use all your material as is indicated in the copyright notification. Bye!